It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year in my eyes. Rivalry week in college football. It's bittersweet though, ain't it? We wait all year. We got the longest off season in all of organized sports, major sports. We wait around for a 4-month season that seems to go by in 4 weeks every single year. So we're getting down to the get down here. The final leg of the season. We got rivalry week, we've got conference championship week, we've got bowl season, and then we got the playoffs. But in my opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, the best week in college football is rivalry week. And this year, it's even extra special because there's a lot of really serious implications on the line this weekend. You got TCU, you got USC, you got Michigan, you got Ohio State, you've got Clemson. There's a lot of teams that are on the outside looking in, but there's some big implications this weekend. I want to be honest with you, because why wouldn't I be? I used to go in really, really hard. When I first came on YouTube, was the Will Muschamp years. I used to go in really, really hard on the Gamecocks during the Muschamp years. I just didn't like Will Muschamp. I mean, obviously I hate South Carolina, but they have not been a threat ever, really. A 4 or 5 year period when Steve Spurrier was there. But as far as national implications or anything like that, they've never been anything that Clemson has to worry about. I just didn't like Will Muschamp. I thought he was an idiot. Great coordinator, terrible coach. And I tried to tell them that. And of course, South Carolina did what South Carolina does. And they win 9 games 1 year. They gave them an extension and a raise. And I was screaming from the mountaintops, this is what South Carolina does. They'll fool you with 9 wins, which by the way, is good, but not worthy of an extension and a raise at a Power 5 school. And so I said, this is going to be a disaster. He's going to, win way less games next year, and then everyone's going to want him fired. Oh, Pete, you just hate South Carolina. We know how this goes. You just hate South Carolina. Then they go out and get Shane Beamer. Now, unlike Will Muschamp, I actually like Shane Beamer. I mean, I hope that he gets obliterated this weekend and humiliated 80-0. But on a personal level, not a personal level because I don't know him, on a human level, I like Shane Beamer. I think Shane Beamer's a good guy. I think Shane Beamer is a lot like my favorite coach in the country, Dabo Swinney. He's Dabo Swinney without the wins. That's what he is. Will he turn into a Dabo Swinney? Chances are, no. And that's nothing against Shane Beamer. It's against the University of South Carolina and the fact that 99.9% of coaches in the Power 5 won't achieve what Dabo Swinney's achieved in the past however many years. 10. But he is Dabo light. Let's face it. One of the best things about Shane Beamer is the fact that he's so much like Dabo. And ever since Dabo's been hired at Clemson, this is his 14th year as head coach, the Gamecock fans has told us they just can't stand Dabo Swinney. He's a fake, he's a phony, he's goofy, he's a used car salesman. Shane Beamer's mentor is Dabo Swinney. And then you go, well, wait, I thought you said you didn't like the goofy family atmosphere stuff. I thought you said that was all a gimmick. Used car salesman stuff. No, we like Shane Beamer. We like Shane Beamer. Getting back to what I was saying earlier in the video. Early on, I went in hard on the Gamecocks. on YouTube. I laid off because it got sad and it wasn't fun anymore. At some point, continuing to make videos trashing the Gamecocks over and over again when they're at their lowest point started to resemble bullying. And I'm not a bully. I don't like the Gamecocks, but I'm not a bully. But there's 1 week every single year that I get to be a complete and total jerk with no implications. And that's this week. The final weekend of November, every year. It's been a lot of fun watching Clemson's success over the past 10 years. I consider myself lucky as a fan because a lot of, let's say I grew up in Iowa and I was an Iowa State fan. I mean, what would I have to celebrate in college football? Nothing. Nothing of importance as far as winning is concerned. So I appreciate the experiences I've had throughout my life being a fan of the Clemson Tiger football team. It's been great. The Gamecocks don't know what that's like. And that's a shame. Actually, it's not a shame. I just lied to you. I can't lie. Well, I can lie about some stuff, but not that. It's not a shame. It's not a shame at all. It's not a shame that South Carolina's greatest accomplishment is beating Clemson 5 times in a row. That's their longest win streak in the series history. 5 games. I think they've done it twice. They did it, 50 years ago, and they did it with Steve Spurrier. That's it. Imagine if you are a fan of a Power 5 football program that's been around for 130 years, and the only thing outside of a 1969 ACC championship game that you can hang your hat on as far as anything that resembles anything that anybody gives a shit about is the fact that you beat your big brother 5 times in a row. Twice in 100 years. Clemson is currently on a 7-game win streak that should have been 8, but of course, the SEC backed out of playing interconference play during the 2020 season. So Clemson didn't get to keep that streak alive. But 2 teams that had played for over 100 years straight without hiccup. Through world wars, natural disasters, presidential assassinations, anything you could think of, they played through it. Nope. Can't do it in 2020. So it should be 8-game win streak right now, but it's 7. Which is already, in case you weren't able to do the math, 2 more than the Gamecocks have had against Clemson in history already. But it's like Dabo Swinney said. I know the Gamecocks hate when I say this, or when Dabo Swinney says it, or when any other college football or Clemson fan says it. UNC is in Chapel Hill, and USC is in California. And the university in this state is and has always been Clemson. They know it, you know it, I know it. The best thing that could have happened leading into this game this week was what happened last week, a couple of days ago. South Carolina blowing out Tennessee was the best thing that I could have asked for as a Clemson man. And I'm not even talking about playoff implications. You say, oh yeah, that knocked Tennessee out of the playoff. That's great. That's like the cherry on top. But the real reason is because South Carolina fans are very easily duped into thinking that they're good. They had 1 good game. All right, I don't know. They might have had another good game. I mean, they had 6 wins going into this thing. Let's say that 2 or 3 of those were good games. The other 2 or 3 were against shit teams that they should beat 100-0 anyway. All right. They had one great game. In what was an otherwise pitiful performance by the team as a whole, but especially the offense and the highly touted quarterback, Spencer Rattler, that transferred from Oklahoma. It was a pitiful performance. They go out there against a terrible Tennessee defense and start looking like they know what they're doing. Don't fall for it. It's fool's gold. Tennessee's defense is just that bad. Tennessee's defense made Stetson Bennett look like a Heisman candidate. Beating Tennessee, while it's good because it's a highly ranked win, did nothing for you other than give you some sort of false hope and security that you actually have a chance to come into Death Valley and end this win streak. It's a false flag. And that's why it's so great. I'm actually happy for a Gamecock win for once. Now, I wasn't rooting for them to win, although there were people that were. I saw with my own 2 eyes when I was in Clemson this weekend. There was a bunch of people in the bar after the game actively cheering out loud for the Gamecocks. It was weird. I get it, but it was weird. But I am actually happy, not for the playoff reason, that South Carolina beat Tennessee. Because now I get to watch them go into this game this weekend in Death Valley with some shred of hope. And to watch that shred of hope get torn from their loins as the clocks hit 0. It probably won't even take long enough for the clocks to hit 0. It'll probably be over by the end of the 3rd quarter, maybe even sooner than that. But it doesn't matter when it happens. To watch that thread of hope get yanked out from beneath them, and the misery and pain returns to their face, which if you've ever seen a Gamecock's face, it's almost always tortured. They have to make themselves smile. They can't do it naturally because they don't have anything to smile about. They live in Columbia. I've lived in South Carolina for 42 years in the Charleston area. I go all over the country, all over the world in my life. Meet people, hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Oh, we love Charleston. It's such a beautiful place. We love to visit there. I want to visit there. Blah, blah, blah. Never in the history of ever has anybody ever said, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. Oh, wow, we really want to go to Columbia, South Carolina. Nobody in history has ever said that. The only people that live in Columbia, either they're there for work and they have to be there, or they are completely destitute and can't get out. It's the prison of South Carolina. You get stuck there. Once you go there, you don't leave. You live a miserable life. You're depressed. You live 2 blocks away from a stadium that looks like an upside-down cockroach next to the fairgrounds. What a dump. What a dump Columbia is. So I love this week. And I realize, I spend 11 months out of the year on this YouTube channel being pretty easy on the Gamecocks. And somehow I draw in a few Gamecock fans here or there that are, regular viewers and interact and stuff. But I piss that all away every November. That's what I'm doing right now. This is my purge. I'm purging the South Carolina fans off of this channel, and that's not because I want them to leave. I wish there was a million of them. They just don't like me. I wouldn't like me either. I wouldn't. I'm not a religious man by any stretch of the imagination. But if I were, I would get on my knees every single morning and thank God that I wasn't raised a Gamecock.